Hello and welcome to a reading vlog. It has been a long time since I've attempted to film one of these, but I thought that today would actually be a pretty good day to do it because for once it is sunny out. It has rained the last 4 days in a row, but today it is beautiful, so I figured I would have some decent lighting in the house to film with. And I also started The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue last night, and so I kind of wanted to vlog my thought process for this book and vlog reading it. And I'm about to read it just a little bit more. I just got back from a long walk because, again, it is like 70 degrees and sunny in the middle of October, which is unheard of. And, you know, normally I don't do this, but I went and got a coffee, so that was fun. If you're curious, it is the Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee with skim milk and pumpkin flavoring because I love pumpkin things and this is the season for them. So that is my coffee. And so I am just going to sit and read some more of Addie LaRue. But first, before I do that, I just wanted to discuss where I'm at in the book so far. So thus far, how far am I? I am 33 pages in on chapter 6. So thus far, not much has happened. We've met Addie and have, you know, had a couple of the dual perspectives thus far. So the book is set both in 2014 thus far in New York City, but I'm not sure if that's going to change throughout. And then it is also set in the 1700s in France. So that's the book so far. I am excited to keep reading it and see how I like it. Thus far, I'm not enjoying it as much as I had enjoyed my previous read, which was Eon by Alison Goodman, but I made the choice to switch to this instead of continuing right on to Iona because I wanted to know, you know, if this book was going to meet my expectations, because I think there's so much hype, like a ridiculous amount of hype around this book, and I want to read it and find out how it is. So let's do just that. All right, so I finished another 50 pages of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I'm enjoying it so far. Like, it's intriguing. I'm interested to see where it goes. It's just not as like instantly gripping as I thought it would be. So we're following two separate timelines of the same character, Addie LaRue. And the first timeline is that of her childhood. So again, it's set in France, and it's kind of explaining like the backstory as to why no one can remember her, and, you know, really going into her early life of dealing with that. And then we're following an alternate timeline in New York, again in 2014, where she's really, you know, she really understands the predicaments of her situation, and she can, you know, navigate that in a different way than she could in the 1700s. So she's lived for 300 years. She understands how to survive without, you know, being remembered by anyone. And it's interesting to see the separation of the timelines. And I'm sure that once we meet this character who is supposed to have remembered her, the story will progress pretty quickly from there. But in the meantime, still reading just to figure out, you know, when that's going to happen, and you know, enjoying it so far, but again, wishing that there was already more substance. So I'm 83 pages into it, and you know, I would have thought that more would have happened by now. So maybe that's a foolish assumption on my part, but you know, hopefully it picks up soon and more does happen. Hey guys, so as you saw, I just ate my delicious lunch. It was very good, and now I just wanted to talk again about the book. I realized that I didn't really go into like what the book was about or anything, so really quickly, we kind of go into this novel knowing that Addie LaRue is not remembered by anyone. So the beginning of the book really covers why that is and how she got into this predicament, and we follow her as she's kind of figuring out the parameters of what that means. So every time that she comes in contact with someone, she you know, interacts with them in such a way, you know, has regular stranger type social interactions. So they don't know her yet, but, you know, they think that they're meeting her. And then as soon as she comes out of contact with them, so as soon as they can't see her anymore, they forget her. So that it's the minute that they re-encounter each other, it's as though they've never met her before. So that is really like the premise of the book and like the parameters by which she's currently living. The other thing is that she can't tell anyone her actual name. So although internally she goes by either Addie or Adeline, she can't actually tell anyone that is her name. She can't write it. She can't in any way indicate what her real name is. So, you know, to all of the people that she's meeting, she is using fake names. So no one actually knows who she is. And they don't remember her long enough to really care necessarily. So that's kind of the premise of the book. And I'm on page 137 now, so I'm into part 2, where presumably we have met the one person who will end up remembering her. I haven't gotten to a scene wherein, you know, this happens, but I think that it's obviously going to happen extremely soon. I think the chapter that I'm on right now, I think we'll have that encounter where it becomes really solidly clear that he remembers her. His name is Henry, by the way. Henry is a worker in a bookshop that Addie LaRue ends up encountering in New York City in the 2014 timeline. So, you know, it's 300 years since she has been dealing with this, and essentially the parameters of like dealing with this means that she is not willing to sell her soul at this point. So the parameters by which she is living this long are that she has until she no longer wants her soul to, you know, go about life in this fashion. So not being remembered and really, you know, traveling around doing whatever she wants. This is her taste of freedom, which is what she sold, or is essentially going to sell her soul for. So that's pretty much what I know so far. Again, I'm still feeling, even though I'm, you know, about a third of the way through the book at this point, I still don't feel like much has happened. It's a pretty slow moving book. And although, you know, we met Henry, we had what appears to have been a remembrance of sorts, but is still, at least in Adeline's brain, you know, it hasn't really happened yet, but she, at least where I am in the book right now, is about to go back to that bookstore. So I'm sure at this point, you know, we'll start to see more about Henry and figure out, you know, where this book is going. But at this point, it's all just been background information. And while I, you know, I'm enjoying the stories and I'm kind of enjoying the character exploration that she's having, I'm not really enjoying this book so far as much as I thought I would. You know, I went into it with super high expectations, being, apologies, Elsa is running around frantically as cats do. But as I was saying, I'm not really enjoying this book as much as I've enjoyed other V. Schwab works, and I'm not really sure where it's going at this point. So hopefully it comes out to be like a huge surprise and I end up loving it, because I feel like that's what all the hype has kind of driven toward. And so I'm really interested to hear, you know, how everyone else is enjoying it, if anyone else has the same feelings about it. And I will check in with you again when I've got more to say on the book. Alright, well, I figured I would update once again on The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue while making some dinner. I am currently making some bruschetta, so I've got some toast that's going to be going down in just a second, and then some chopping to do. But I'm about halfway through the book now, and I figured I'd better just give you guys an update so that I have content for this vlog. Gotta say, thus far, the book has been good. It just hasn't gone in the direction that I was anticipating. So finally, things have started to happen. So we've met Henry. Henry's actually, he is the character that, you know, remembers Addie LaRue. And so, you know, that's all great. It was really interesting to see how she navigated a dinner party. And we're getting a lot of good history as to how she has, you know, tested the limits of the situation that she's in and kind of tried to defy Luke, or Lucifer. I don't really know what to call him, but she calls him Luke. Tried to defy him because A, she's not giving up her soul yet. As we know, she's obviously sustained that for over 300 years, so she's found different reasons to continue living. And not only in her defiance, but just the dynamic between them is interesting. Let's just leave it at that. And then, other than that, you know, we've seen how she's kind of gone through a couple of different scenarios, but I still feel like we haven't gotten anywhere. I feel like the book had so much potential to explore so many different places. Like, she fought so hard for her freedom, and that she's essentially selling her soul to have this additional time and to like experience freedom in the way that she is. And we don't get to see how she uses that thus far. I mean, I grant you, like, the 1700s weren't the time to like travel in the way that we do currently, but it continually is alluded to that she's got all this worldly experience and that she's done all this traveling. She's experienced so much, but we don't get to see that. And that's really what I thought this book was going to be. So thus far, I am slightly disappointed. But besides that, I think that, you know, the book is interesting. I'm excited to see where it goes. I am looking forward to more interaction with Henry. I'm just at the point now where something interesting is going to happen. He's either going to react in, you know, whatever fashion he's going to react in, and that will be interesting to see. I don't know. So yeah, not mad that I'm reading the book. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be this amazing book that everyone has kind of like made it out to be. In the process of updating my Goodreads, I did notice that like a couple more people who I follow have rated it 5 stars, and it's not going to be a 5-star read for me. I can tell you that right now, because 5-star reads are good from beginning to end, and this book took 50 pages to really get moving, and I don't know. Like I said, I think I'm disappointed because I had expectations, and maybe I shouldn't have. I probably should have just gone into this with no expectations and really just seen how it went, and maybe I would be enjoying it more. But, you know, having some form of expectation, expecting more of a, I don't know, an adventure story out of this, I'm definitely not getting those vibes. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to finish it soon. I'd like to do a good amount of reading tonight, and then hopefully finish it this weekend. So yeah, hopefully the rest of the book surprises me. But that's all I've got as far as an update, but I will show you the finished product of my meal in just a second. And there you have it, the finished product of my dinner. Very excited, gonna go eat this and hopefully read a bit more tonight. All right, so we are back in the kitchen again. I'm going to cook up some dinner, but I also wanted to take this time to update you on my progress with Addie LaRue. So I finished the book, and I just wanted to like run through my thoughts a little bit. So I thought that overall I liked the book. I gave it 3 stars, and it was good. Now, that being said, I think that it could have been great. I really liked the concept. I was really hoping for a more adventure-based plot. I didn't realize that it was going to be such a character-driven story. It was extremely character-driven, and you know, I like that. I do love character-driven stories, but I didn't feel compelled to like either Addie or Henry. So the only characters that I really liked throughout the story were Luke, and then Sam and Remy. So all of the, you know, obviously Luke is a main character, but 2 side characters and the villain. So yeah. Like I said, I liked it. I think that the focus on art was absolutely phenomenal. As far as what I'm cooking, I've got these 2 Italian style chicken breasts. So I'm cooking dinner for tonight and tomorrow so that I don't have to cook tomorrow. I have these stew vegetables, which I am just going to roast. And then I'm going to have some pasta, which I'll show you when I get there. All right, so let's continue that conversation while I wait for my dinner to finish up. So, as I was saying, I really did like the book. I just feel like I was expecting it to be different than it was. So, I expected for her to kind of come into her own a lot more. I expected her to travel a lot more. I thought that she would be adventuring, you know, she traded her soul essentially for freedom, and then it felt like she didn't really embrace that at all. I mean, I understand that she's got an infinite amount of time to do those things, so perhaps the desire to do those things very quickly wasn't there, but she spent so long in France, and the only reason that she left France is because Luke essentially made her. So that part really bugged me. The only time that she actually did travel was because, other than the time that she was escaping war, she was brought there by Luke. So it bugged me how many of her experiences were driven by him. And I understand that, you know, he is toying with her. He's trying to, you know, use her for his own gain at that point. But at the same time, like, girl, you have an infinite amount of time to do whatever you want, and you're just gonna stay in the same place? Like, it bugged me. Can you tell? Other than that, I loved Luke as a character. The whole storyline with Henry, it was pretty obvious it had to be one of 2 things. Like, there were only 2 directions that could have gone. So, you know, obviously it went in one of those 2 directions, and it was the direction that I didn't really want it to go in. So, alas. I think overall, the book is worth reading. I will say that. I did enjoy reading it. I just thought that it was going to be a lot different. I thought that it would go in a different direction than it did, and I was really hopeful for once that the villain would win. I know that that's not something that really ever happens. Please, if you have any recommendations of books where that does actually happen, where like the villain wins, please let me know, because I'm dying for a story like that. Side tangent, if you're gonna read a story, I know I recommended this in my fall reading recommendations, but A Dying Machine by Mark Tremonti and John Shirley. The villain doesn't win necessarily, but like, you guys, something great happens. It just warms my heart that someone finally did that. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but please, if you're someone like me, like you enjoy the villainous characters, you know, tend toward deviousness, or you prefer that in a character, and you want them to win every now and again, please try to go read that book, because it accomplishes that. Other than that, I don't know that I've got too much more to say on the book. I think that, again, it's worth reading, and if you like character-driven stories, like, you'll probably love it. It is very character-driven, and there are interesting, like, intricacies to the deal that she's made that were well done. I appreciated how Victoria Schwab actually illustrated, like, the predicament that Addie LaRue was in. I appreciated the development of that over time. I appreciated that she really pushed the boundaries, and she was portrayed as like a strong female character. I just wish that she was a strong female character who actually tended toward adventure more. That she wasn't just like expecting everything to be handed to her, or she wasn't waiting for something else to happen. I don't know. She didn't have all of the tendencies that I thought that she would. So that's what made the storyline frustrating to me. But yeah, other than that, that's about all I have to say. I'm not going to end the vlog yet because my dinner is still not finished, so I will show you guys my final dinner and just wrap up the vlog in a second. Alright, so there you have it. There was my dinner, and it was very good. I'm very proud of myself. I don't cook a lot, so it was great to have a delicious meal. And I did think of some final thoughts while I was eating dinner. I wanted to note that I really liked the writing style of this book. I thought that the different perspectives were interesting, and I'm glad that she included, you know, Henry's own perspective of Henry's story. I also really liked the dynamic manner in which the story moved along. So it was interesting to read from Addie's past and present kind of simultaneously, while also having Henry's timeline sprinkled in there. I will say that it was sort of confusing at first because obviously Henry's past is so much more recent than Addie's past, so it was a little bit jarring in that sense, but you know, once you read the the year that you're in, it was pretty obvious what was going on. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you like this style of video. I tried to combine both the wrap-up and the vlog in this video because I don't do a lot of vlogging content, so let me know if you enjoyed that part of this video and I'll try to do more. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. I post art and book related content every Tuesday and sometimes on Friday. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.